Welcome in. It is time for Sports Memo Today. Get to know your handicappers over at sportsmemo.com. And we have two of the best here today. Ross Benjamin and Nick Borrman are going to join us. And why? Well, we got a little something for everyone this time of year. If you're interested in playing a little Major League Baseball tonight, you don't want to miss what Ross has got to say coming up here about a pretty interesting team in the National League coming up. Not to mention, we've got some NHL playoffs as well as, NBA coming up, and nobody better than Ross. And then we're going to switch gears. We've got, that's right, we got all sorts of golf coming up here. PGA Tour, and one of the best in Nick Borrman is going to lay it out for us. Couple of a top 10, a top 20, maybe even a huge outright winner available to you today here. So don't go anywhere. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button. And if you're joining us a little bit later here and you missed the live broadcast, don't worry. You'll have the opportunity here to check out exactly what you want and when you want here in the description. So without any further ado here on a $2 Tuesday, we bring in Ross Benjamin. We call him the Jimmy Buckets of Sports Memo. The guy is an absolute killer in the NBA, my man. Is this correct? As I had to read it twice, Ross. We're looking at a 15-3 side and money line play so far in what, 2.5 weeks?
Spread, point spread and money line picks in the NBA postseason. And I go back to the start of the play-in tournament, Joe. You know, I know the NBA doesn't recognize the play-in tournament as being postseason, but it is. You know, so 15-3 with those plays. So 2-0 last night. I had the Orioles last night plus 109, and I also had the Leafs in the Lightning game over 6.5. So not only the NBA, we're making some money in baseball and hockey as well.
That's what it's all about. Cash and tickets here, guys. Ross Benjamin, make sure you're visiting him over at sportsmemo.com. Big NBA 4-unit play here tonight on your page over at Sports Memo. But let's talk some baseball here because I love this matchup here. The new kids on the block taking on the old kids on the block sort of here, right, Ross? As the Pirates, I know you had the Pirates winning 100 games this year. Taking on the Dodgers. No problem. Pirates at home, a little bit of an underdog here. What do you think we're getting tonight?
Well, you know, Joe, here's the thing. If we would have talked, me and you would have talked before the season started, and I would have told you, you know what, on April 25th, the Dodgers are only going to be a $1.13 favorite on the road at Pittsburgh, you would have had me committed, no doubt about it. So, and for those of you who say they would have projected that, raise your hand and I'll put it down because you're a liar, you know, because the Pirates, nobody expected anything of them. Look, it's no fluke, Joe. 16-7, best record in baseball right now. Won their last 7, allowed 3 runs or less in all 7 games. They're playing a Dodgers team, like Joe alluded to, big brand name, a lot of success over the last decade or so. And you would think that the Dodgers would be the play that the public jumps all over here, and they are, because you're catching them as a short favorite against the quote-unquote Pittsburgh Pirates, who have the reputation of being one of the worst teams, not only in the National League, but in baseball over the last decade. So polar opposites here. But, you know, then you look at the starting pitchers, Johan Oviedo for the Pittsburgh Pirates, last 3 games, 0.92 ERA, giving them good innings beside, averaging 6.7 innings pitched per start over those last 3. And then you go to the Pirates bullpen. It's been red hot. It's been good all year, but it's been red hot over the last 7 games with a 2.62 staff ERA. On the other hand, Noah Syndergaard gets a start for the Dodgers. And, Joe, he's not Thor from back in New York anymore. This guy is an average to below average pitcher right now. His last 3 starts are indicative of that, a 6.19 ERA. As a matter of fact, he's made 4 starts this season, and the Dodgers are 0-4 in those games. And when you look at his pitching statistics and lines, he's a major contributor to the lack of success in those games. And the Dodgers bullpen, that might be the most disappointing aspect of their game right now, Joe. I mean, the last 7 games, a 5.61 ERA and a 1.64 WHIP. Give me the Pirates there, plus 103 over the Dodgers.
Yep. I get the hotter team, more consistent team with the better starting pitcher. I'm with you, man. Sign me up. Get her done here tonight. Pirates taking on the Dodgers. And now we go from baseball to one of the craziest first-round series we've seen in a while in the NHL, right? Because apparently one team does not start playing until they're down at least 3 goals. That's apparently how this works. With Edmonton and the Kings here, it happened again. 3-goal deficit into the third. Voila. Turns out Edmonton wins. Kings did it to them earlier. So what are we going to get in this game, in Game 5?
Yeah, the Oilers did it in the last game. And again, going off track here, but in a parallel to what you're talking about is the Leafs last night down 4-1 going into the third. They tie it and win on overtime, similar to what Edmonton did. Here's the thing, Joe. You said how good a series this is, and I agree. I mean, look, 4 games. It's even at 2-2. 3 to 4 games went overtime. Now, here's the thing where I start thinking like an odds maker and not a bettor. Despite you can't get any closer than these 4 games have been played. I mean, the one win Edmonton had 4-2, and I believe they scored an empty net goal at the end. Yet, the odds makers are undeterred, unfazed by those results. And Edmonton is a minus 235 favorite before I came on air. I don't know what it is now, but, you're looking at an Edmonton team 20-5 in their last 25 money line picks, and 13 of those 20 wins have come by 2 goals or more. So this is a team that's dominated up until this point. And the other thing I think will be a huge factor tonight is the Edmonton power play. Record-setting power play throughout the course of the year, converting on unbelievable 38% of their man advantages. And they're 6-for-11 in this series. And I just think Edmonton, they're begging you to take the Kings here as a huge money line underdog, or even on the puck line at a reasonable price. But I'm not falling for the bait. I'm going to take Edmonton here. I'm going to lay the 1.5 tonight, and I'm going to say this game will not be like the previous 4. I think Edmonton wins this game 5-2, 6-2, Joe. So I'm going to go Edmonton minus 1.5, and I'm catching plus 117 at Heritage as we speak.
Yeah, I was wondering too how long before we get to see a total of 7 in these in one of these games between these two. I mean, they keep going at 6.5, but with the power plays for both of these teams, it's like, good Lord, it should be a great one here. And I'm kind of with you. When everyone wants you to go left, going right there. Absolutely. That's how Ross rolls. And by the way, guys, his best bet here tonight, 4-unit play in the NBA. The guy has been crushing the NBA playoffs here again. We're talking about ATS right sides and money line. 15-3 since the start back on April 11th when all of this began is out of control. You can pick up that play over his page at sportsmemo.com. Ross Benjamin, always a pleasure, brother. Glad to see you cashing those tickets. Keep it up, man. We'll do this again soon.
Joe, let's talk sooner than later. So always a pleasure, and thank you for having me, buddy.
Good luck, brother. Thank you so much. Ross Benjamin over at sportsmemo.com. Go visit him here and go pick up that NBA play, guys. Absolutely on fire over on his page at sportsmemo.com. And again, Pirates, Dodgers was his free play for you there, as well as the Oilers taking it down against the Kings tonight. And if you're joining us here, you didn't get a chance to join us live, again, in the description, you'll have the opportunity to get the explanations and the breakdowns of those free plays here. So don't miss that. Go ahead, go to the description, click down, and hit it, and you will see the chapter that has that play for you. Now, we go from baseball and hockey to where else? Of course, the Lynx, right? It's a hell of a segue into the PGA. Nick Borrman joining us, sm.buzz/NB. Nick, the golfer, not only is he a 48 handicap, But no, I'm only kidding. He's crushing it as well. Again, been a hell of a PGA season for you once again. And I feel like we're just getting started. One major out of the way, and we got so much more golf coming up here, Nick.
Yeah, it's been a good year so far. 5 outright winners, Joe.
Woo!
And yeah, I mean, major season still ahead of us. A ton of big events. So there's a lot still left on the docket this season.
5, guys. That's 5 lottery tickets. All right. He's already cashed here. The guy is out of control. Not to mention $19 PGA pack for this week. It's an interesting tournament in Mexico, right? We got a whole lot of big names. I almost laughed when I saw John Rahm as a 2-1 favorite. I'm like, this is getting out of control. But talk to us here a little bit about what's coming up this week, and what do you think?
Yeah, this is a kind of fill-in tournament where usually, John Rahm won last year. It was his only win last year, but it's a very top-heavy field. It's him, Tony Finau, and one other guy that rank in the top 50 in the world in the field this week. So not a deep field. Next week we get back to a designated event, so you'll see a huge field there. So yeah, this is kind of the Tiger versus the field situation that we're seeing on a price with John Rahm right now, anywhere from 250 to 275. Is where he is going off at. So you got to go around him and look for somebody else. And I think I got one for you, Joe.
Ooh, listen, 5, again, guys, 5 outright winners on tour so far for him. I know you got to be cooking somebody up here. Forget Rahm, throw it out. Who else is it we should be looking at here for a possible outright?
Joe, I'm going to go with Wyndham Clark. Goes by the nickname Windy Clark. So he's 20-1 right now. And listen, I'm going to be on this guy's first PGA Tour win. I'm telling you right now, I've been very close. I've taken him a couple times this season. He's knocked on the door just last week at the Zurich Partners event. He and his partner led after each of the first 3 days, stalled out on Sunday, ended up finishing third. So we just missed out last week, but I'm going back to the well on him. I think he can break through. That third place was his third top 6 finish in his last 4 starts, Joe. All of those were weak field events, which I already described as what this is this week. But he's been playing well even in the deepest fields. He's actually made the cut in 14 straight events. So even when the field is tough, he's still there. He's still making it to the weekend. But when the field is weak, he is right near the top. Clark has gained strokes on approach in all but one of those 14 cuts he's made. Which is going to be important this week because this course is long. It's got a lot of long par 4s, a lot of long par 5s. So he's going to have mid to long irons in his hands, and that will be good for him. Take away Rahm, and Clark is the second favorite this week for good reason. He ranks 3rd in the field in total strokes gained over the last 12, 6, and 3 months. So he's been hot for a year. He's been hot for a short amount of time as well. So Windy Clark, 20-1, I think is going to make a run again this week, Joe.
How do you not bet a dude named Windy? Was it Bo Hostler? Was that his partner this past week?
Yes,
kind of threw up all over themselves on Sunday. Actually, It wasn't him. It was really Hostler who sucked. But I'm with you, man. Windy Clark at 20-1. I'm all over it here. Now, tell me about because not in addition to the outrights, those of you that may be new to golf betting. And Nick is a guy you want to go visit now over at SportsMemo.com with his 5 outright winners already this year. Talk to me about some of these top 10, top 20 guys that, hey, it's not a 70-1 bomb, but you know what? A ticket is a ticket and it cashes. Give me a couple of guys we should be looking at.
Yeah, I've had great success with these this year, breaking these down on Wager Talk Extra with Dan every week. I think it's been 4 or 5 in a row. This week, I'm circling in on Nicolai Hojgaard for both top 10 and top 20. Just 1 month ago, Hojgaard finished runner-up in Punta Cana, where he led the field in distance. I already mentioned how long this course is, and he co-led in greens and regulation. So that's going to be a big advantage for him this week. Hojgaard's a European Tour guy, but he's earned special temporary membership status on tour this year. And while it only just kicked in 5 weeks ago, you can't look past his results on the European Tour. As we go back, he's got 4 top 13 finishes in his last 6 starts dating back to December. So he's in the mix often. Because of his recent form, Hojgaard ranks 5th in this field in total strokes gained over that span, and he's gaining strokes in all 5 measured categories. So off the tee, approach, around the green, putting, you name it. Hojgaard has the talent, Joe, to win on tour. And I think this week gives him a good chance, but I'm going to be a little safer, and I'm going to take him in the top 10 and top 20 markets. So as long as he has a decent week, we should cash a ticket on Nicolai Hojgaard, just your household name, Nicolai Hojgaard.
Oh, absolutely. Guys that I know you guys were so close to playing him before Nick just said that. So, but listen, there is no reason not, and I mean not, to head over for $19 and grab the entire PGA package this week from Nick Borrman. He's got outright winners. He's got top 10s, top 20s, all sorts of great matchups, a lot of great ways to make some money here this week in this tournament outside of having to bet 2-1 Rahm. And it was funny too, Nick, because I was just talking about this tournament, and somebody had passed along a bet. I believe one of the books had it where, yeah, it was 2-1 for Rahm to win it, but he was 10-1 being the first round leader. Yes. And I'm like, wait a minute. So you mean if you're telling me he's 2-1, isn't he going to lead all 4 rounds here? I mean, isn't that the better bet?
Well, it's a better odds return, but you got to remember the best players in the world. It's like anything. The longer the sample size, the more telling the results will be. So on 18 holes, I'm not saying I'm going to go out there and beat Jon Rahm, but somebody could be hot one day and end up being on the top of that leaderboard. And by the time they get to Sunday, if they even make the weekend, right? We've seen Spieth do that before, be the first round leader and miss the cut. They could fall way off. So that's why you're seeing the odds that way. But if you do like Rahm, it is a good way to get down on him this week.
Yeah, we all know you'd kick Rahm's ass in the first 18 holes. So who we kidding over here? Nick Borrman, guys, make sure you head over to his page right now at sportsmemo.com. Again, $19. Get his entire PGA package here for this weekend. And don't forget, of course, majors starting to roll around again here. And nobody has been better on the golf course than Nick Borrman here, making guys a ton of cash. So make sure you visit him over at sportsmemo.com. Nick, always a pleasure, brother. Best of luck with the plays this week. We'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me, buddy.
Boom! Nick Borrman over at sportsmemo.com. There you got it here, guys. So that means we got Ross Benjamin over at Sports Memo, and he's got that NBA play you're going to want to hop on over and grab, as well as, of course, Nick Borrman you just heard from. PGA this weekend, $19 over at his page. Bottom line, guys, no reason not to head over to sportsmemo.com. Utilize these guys, partner up with them. Great free information, free picks all up and down the site. No reason not to take advantage of it and make it one hell of a profitable weekend. So that'll do it here for us. Dan Alexander will be back again on Thursday for you here. We'll bring in a couple of more Sports Memo cappers for you, get you those free plays, introduce you to them, and hey, it's all about cash and tickets, which is what we are here to do. Help you be a little bit more profitable this week. On behalf of Ross and Nick, we appreciate the time, guys. Don't forget, hit the subscribe and the like button. And don't forget, check in the description here, guys. You can find exactly the game and breakdown. In case you missed this live, you can check it out on demand there in the description page here on YouTube. Thanks again, guys. Best of luck with all your plays. Sports Memo Today will be back on Thursday. Good luck.